Hi, I got your file open in Chief Architect X8. You didn't mention what you're using, so I just figured I'd work it in what I'm most used to. I'm going to program the file for home designer products. So whatever you're using, as long as it's a 2017 title, then you should be able to open this file later. Let's you To orient anybody else looking at this video, I wanted to show you what's currently happening. We've got these shark fins here in the back and some unnecessary stuff around the edges. Otherwise, did a pretty good job. See what I'm talking about along here, and that's because you took this flat region and put it right on the edge. You never do that. Have it overlap. As soon as I do that, you'll see some of these ripples on the sides go away. We get away from the edge. So just totally, and this is programmed to be flat and at 0 elevation. That's probably right. I'm going to check that. And then this flat region, so you've got it right on the edge. Again, that's a no-no. But that hang over. And then this, see this one you've got programmed at minus 144 inches. And those shark fins are coming from this one, this elevation line here, which is set at 144 inches, not minus 144. So I'm going to delete this one. It's just causing trouble. Now I'm going to go over here to terrain and build terrain. And you see all that junk disappeared. The shark fins are gone. Any anomalies are along the edges are gone. And pretty easy to do. But if you didn't know that, well then maybe, okay, maybe it's not so easy. See, I smoothed everything out. The only problem with this is that door is underground. So 144 is enough. Let me do a cross section right through the door. Yeah, there's the door. I'm going to do a cross section camera through the door so I can kind of see what's going on in the back. Okay. We got a problem up in the front, looks like, too. Okay, there's the door, and here's the terrain plane right there. So I'm going to measure from where the terrain plane is down to where I need it to be, about 6 inches below the door or so. And that's, I don't see the readout. I guess I need to, yeah, do that. Let me do that again. Okay, I'm looking at the taskbar. That's 4 feet 2 inches. So I'm going to delete. I didn't want those dimensions to be there permanently. We'll just get rid of those. Go back to plan view, and on the first floor, and we'll take this, open it up, and we're gonna let's see, that's 48, 50 inches, so it'd be minus 194. One thing I've learned about this software, it just does what it's told and nothing else. If you don't tell it succinctly and accurately, well then it does something else. See, now the door's not underground. Well, it's almost not underground. Now it's still, okay, I miscalculated a little bit. I can't do it in this camera view, so I'm going to go back to the plan view and lower this about another foot, which would be minus 209, thereabouts. But if I were you on terrain, I would just work on one area, check it in camera views. That's still a little high. See how the terrain's coming above the door? Okay. So I wouldn't exact enough. So we'll go minus 220. That's probably overkill. Go back to the cameras. Okay, see now it says a few inches below the door. That's correct. Now, why we're getting this triangle here, I'm not quite sure. Let me click on that and hit the tab key. Now I don't know what's causing that. Let's find out. Go down to the basement and see if there's something weird going on. You turn on the reference display. Okay, we don't need these walls here. And we'll pull this in. That should clean that triangle thing up. Let's see if it did. Generally speaking, if there's something wrong with the plan, it's something you did or you did wrong or you guessed wrong. Yeah, okay, that got rid of the concrete triangle. If you're going to have these bump outs, same thing's true. You know, you might want to have a separate room there, but I'm assuming not. Eventually, this is all going to be living space, at least on this floor. Okay, now let's check the front. We'll do a front elevation. I just want to see how close the terrain is to, uh-oh. Okay, I guess I need to check the garage doors also. That's where I noticed the problem. Let's do it from this side. I think, whoops, where's the garage doors? Let me use a different camera. I thought I saw, oh, there's garage doors right there. Big time underground. Yeah, those garage doors are kind of, you've got them on the basement level instead of up here where I would assume they go. What the hell is that? Oh, that's an attic wall. The software automatically generates those. Well, maybe it isn't an attic wall. Oh, I'm going to delete that. You don't need it. It's a errant roof plane. We'll just take this one here and pull that down there. That'll handle that. Okay. But these garage doors probably don't belong where you put them. They probably belong up here on this floor. I'm just guessing. Well, what's going on here? Let's see. I guess let me hit Control Z and get rid of that door. Let's take a look at that. Your garage doors. Why all the garages? Seems like overkill to me, unless you run a limo service. See, all this area up here is again underground. Now, you didn't mention that, but this is goofy and it's not going to work. You either got to change your design or change the terrain. So what's the skinny on this on the structure tab? Okay, the floor is at minus 26 1/8 inches. Why the hell is that? I have no idea. The house over here is probably at 0 on the first floor. That's where it should be, yeah, 0. So on a minimum, these garages ought to be 0. Well, actually, they should be about -6 or something like that, so the water doesn't just run in the house when you get a heavy rain. Okay. I'm just going to make that -6. So it's just a little bit below the living space floor height. -6. That's not going to help those doors, though. Not a whole lot. I've got a camera open here, so let me open that one. Well, see what I mean? Those doors ought to be up here if you're going to drive from here. Well, let's see. What I originally started looking for, see, this terrain is goofy. See, there's the bottom of the door at 0. You open the dialog box, make sure that's true. Yeah, floor to bottom is 0. So your terrain is way too high in the front. Set at 0. Now, in order not to just guess, I'm going to do an elevation here at the front, which includes the terrain and the front door. Okay, now I can measure. See, your bottom steps down here, the train ought to be down here, and that would put the garage doors above ground. So let's measure that. We'll measure from where the train is, right about there, down to where it ought to be, down here, and that's off by 7 feet 2 inches. Okay? So I'm going to take this flat region you got here, this improperly programmed, at least for this house. Now maybe there's other issues that I'm not aware of, but I'm going to put it at minus 7'6". We'll just make it 7'6". I always guess a little bit not quite enough, like I did in the back. Now we'll check this in an overview camera and see if I can see the bottom of the front door. Now this door here is still underground, and then if you open this dialog box, take a look. It's probably set floor to 0. Yeah, floor to bottom is 0, and in the dialog box there, in here, the floor height is 0. So this is still too high. Okay, I'm going to make it minus 10 feet. Whoops. And check that. Okay. My criteria here is, yeah, see the front door is still below the grade. And that's a tall door. That's almost a 10-foot tall door. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. It's kind of unusually tall. So we need to go down some more. Minus. That's going to mess up the back. See, I've got this was 0, and this was back in the back here was whatever it was. I forget. I'm going to set that flat region. Oh, I wonder if there's any other data in here that's messing things up. I don't see it just at a glance. Ah, now we're getting someplace. Now you can see the stairs and the bottom of the garage door. The foundation's kind of screwed up here. Yeah, the foundation is cutting in front of the doors, but that's another problem for another day. Anyway, this is working quite a bit better. Of course, it's probably, well, and yeah, now the back is too high, so I'm going to raise that up. We'll set it to minus 200. See, there's always a cause and effect in here, and you can't just assume that everything stayed put because if you made a change, you made a change. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And now the front is straightened up and the garage are not subterranean. Yeah, the foundation, you probably should have ordered a different foundation than you did order, because you can see here that it's, whoops, cutting through the doors. And, you know, you got a lip here that you'd have to drive. That's in the virtual model. You're not going to live in the virtual model. I understand that. But there's some more stuff to do. I'm going to take one little quick look at, let's see, I'm going to close some of these other cameras that I had open. Now that we've straightened that part out, I want to take a look at this garage foundation wall. I'm just going to look at it in an elevation camera and isolate just that wall. See this concrete sticking up above the doors. So I'm going to hit that, hit the tab key, and open the dialog box for that foundation wall. I think you forced it in to where it is by specifying in your defaults. I don't see it here. Thickness, no, that's not it. Let me check your foundation defaults. Edit default settings, foundation, edit. You got it set to, I never use that. It's not important, but I don't use it. Walls with footings, so that's okay as far as it goes. see, edit default foundation wall. Let's take a look at that. Thickness is fine. I'm not an engineer, so those specifications are up to your engineer. That's talking about the footing height and the footing width. I don't know why the stem wall is so tall in this graphic. Let me see if there's another setting that's goobered up. If there is, I don't see it. Minimum garage height 24. What I'm complaining of, I don't see anything wrong with the defaults per se, except this wall polyline up here. Let me hit the tab key. So it comes right down here, and actually this wall polyline needs to go down to the bottom of the doors. I'm going to move it down. In the software that you have, you may not be able to do that. No, okay, that's where it's supposed to be. Let me put that back where it was. We'll go to the structure tab and default. So it's this foundation wall that's too tall. Let's see. Let's take a look at that. Bingo. You got these huge. Yeah, look at that ceiling. Unless you're going to turn this into living space on the basement level, you don't need all this. This is where those big stem walls are coming from. Well, apparently the faults are messed up because the ceiling, at least in this part of the basement, you're probably just going to have a slab on grade foundation underneath the garages. But let's make it something a little bit more reasonable. Let's make it 24 inches. And over here, ceiling height, 24. I'm just guessing, but it's not a guess that the garage doors are being clipped by the foundation. I'm not quite sure what you did to bring that non-optimum condition about. See, the garage door, let me show you on the other side. The garage doors on this side are not doing that. Well, they weren't, now they are. Let me see what that is. No, okay. Oh, and there's a wall polyline. I'm going to try to just adjust that down below the garage doors. That was too much. I know the garage doors are way out of the ground. Now something's changed over here. Well, oh, stem wall top. Okay. -6. That's what I told it to do. See if this one's still -6. No, no. It went back to that earlier figure you had set for it, -6. That's probably why the foundation's overwhelming the. Check that. Well, we got a little bit of a gap there. Maybe I need to change this by about 6 inches. I think got 214 minus 214. And we'll start checking this stuff again. See, let me use a different camera. Well, that closed that gap a little bit more, but not quite as much as I needed. So I'm going to make that 210 minus 210. Okay, we closed that gap right over here underneath the stairs, but these are way too far out of the ground relative to the terrain. And that should come from this dialog box. Floor setting. What am I missing? Let's make it -12. See what that does. Yeah, see, that helps some. See, I didn't create the rest of this model, so I may be off from your original intention. I think you had it set to what, let's try 18. See, all these settings are kind of relative. Okay, that's a little bit better. You could slant the slant up a little bit to the bottom of the doors. Let's apply that same figure over here. Minus 18. Yeah, that's beginning to make sense to me now that I think about it, because this is, you know, several steps up to 0, so this should be several steps down to the garage level. Oh yeah, it's looking better. You could add ramps here, or you could we could raise the terrain up another 4 to 6 inches, but which would cover up this bottom step. But I'll leave that to you. I think I've demonstrated that this software is just a mechanical device, and you just have to lead it around by the nose, and because it only does what you order it to do. And if you don't know what you're doing, of course, you can order it wrongly, or you can order it rightly. But once you kind of get that through your head, and check the overview one more time, and things go a lot easier. The software doesn't really do anything other than just what you tell it to do. And the quality of your communication to the software determines the outcome. Okay, that's beginning to look better to me. Oh, I see. Those walls came. Those are dimension lines. They're not walls. I thought those walls I took out. Let's take a look on the inside. I assume this is going to be a big open space with those shapes on them. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm just not sure exactly what of your intentions, but I think I've demonstrated that your problems can be solved. And good luck with this. Thanks for watching.